Stop everything you are doing right now. If you clicked on this video, it is because something inside of you is exhausted, tired of being talked about behind your back, tired of pretending it doesn't hurt when you find out that the person you trusted has been spreading lies about you, tired of coming home to your house in Oak Ridge, closing your bedroom door, and feeling that strange weight in your chest without understanding why so many doors are closing in your life, why so many opportunities are slipping through your fingers, and why everything you try hits an invisible wall that no one else can see but you can feel. I need you to listen to this with your full attention. Today, at this very moment, God is telling you something that will change your story. He is saying, and I am going to repeat it, because it is important, I am silencing every tongue that has risen against you. Every ill-spoken word, every hidden envy, every agreement made in the dark against your life, all of it is being undone right now. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how this is happening, what the real signs are that prove this promise is not a fantasy, and what you need to do so that divine silence falls upon your enemies once and for all. This video is not about revenge. Revenge is for small-minded people. This video is about divine justice. It is about you finally understanding why it seemed like everything was conspiring against you over the last few months here in Chicago, and why this is about to end in a way that will surprise you. Before we continue, I need to ask you a direct question. Have you ever stopped to think why some people, even when they work twice as hard, even when they are honest, even when they have a good heart, live surrounded by obstacles that make no sense? Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror in the morning and asked, what did I do to deserve so much judgment? Why is there always someone trying to pull me down? Why does it feel like there is an invisible force trying to keep me small, quiet, and in the same place I've always been? I am going to tell you a truth that many people avoid saying. There is a spiritual war happening over your life right now, and it has a very specific name: tongues. Human tongues carry power. When someone speaks ill of you in your absence, it doesn't just evaporate into the air, it becomes a spiritual chain that tries to delay everything you touch. But today, God is cutting that chain. And it is exactly here that I need to stop and tell you something very serious. If you felt a chill just now, if something in your chest moved when you heard these words, that was no accident. You didn't land on this video because of an algorithm. You arrived because heaven moved the gears of your day to bring you this message right now. And perhaps you are feeling, without being able to explain it, that there is a spiritual layer to what is happening to you, but you could never put it into words. Many people feel it. Few people understand it. And those who do understand have a massive responsibility, especially over their own families, because when the attack is against you, it hits those you love, it hits your home, it hits your children, your peace, and your prayer life. That is why I prepared a powerful digital book for you, called How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day. This book was written for those who are at this exact point, feeling the calling, but needing spiritual clarity to act correctly. The link is pinned in the description and at the top of the comments. Hundreds of brothers and sisters across the country have already read it and reported that for the first time they understood the reason for the attacks they suffered and how to position themselves against them. This content could be taken down at any moment, so do not delay this encounter. If you feel this message was for you, comment Amen below, declaring that you have received the call. Now follow me closely, because what I'm going to explain to you now is what no one has the courage to say from the pulpit. There are 3 types of tongues that rise against a person's life, and until you know how to identify each one of them, you will continue to be attacked without understanding where the blow is coming from. The first is the tongue of hidden envy. This is the most common and also the most dangerous, because it comes from people who smile to your face. It comes from the co-worker at the office in Charlotte who seems to root for you, but in the company group chat says things you can't even imagine. It comes from cousin Megan, who hugs you at Sunday dinner but leaves complaining about how much you've grown in recent years. It comes from that childhood friend, Kevin, who disappears the moment your life improves. This type of tongue is destructive because it works in the dark. The person doesn't face you. They undermine your reputation bit by bit, drop by drop, until one day you realize no one calls you anymore, no one refers you, no one trusts you, and you don't understand why. You don't understand because the attack was made far from your eyes in a place where you cannot defend yourself. The second is the tongue of religious judgment. This one hurts even more because it comes from people who claim to love God. It comes from people inside the church who think they own the truth, who look at your life and decree what you deserve and what you don't. It comes from Aunt Margaret, who spends her time criticizing your choices in the name of faith. It comes from Brother Samuel, who acts like a saint, but uses God's name to say things that God would never say about you. This type of tongue is poisonous because it disguises itself as zeal. But Jesus already warned us, not everyone who says to me, "Lord, Lord," will enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever speaks ill of you using the Bible as a weapon is committing a sin as great as adultery, because they are distorting the image of God and God sees it. The third is the hidden tongue, the one that acts in the spiritual realm without you knowing. Here I need to be careful in explaining it to you, because it is delicate ground, but it is real, and we cannot run from the truth. There are people who pray against you. There are people who ask for your downfall in silence. There are people who go to places they shouldn't to try and delay your life. And you feel it. You feel it because strange coincidences start happening. Business deals that should have worked out fail for absurd reasons. Relationships that seemed solid turn cold out of nowhere. The money that comes into your account drains away without explanation. It feels like there's a hole in your pocket. You wake up tired even after sleeping 8 hours. You pray, but you feel like the prayer doesn't rise. It feels like it hits the ceiling and comes back. Strange symptoms in your body that the doctor in Atlanta can't explain. Absurd fights inside your home with people you love over tiny reasons. These 3 types of tongues form what the Bible calls weapons formed against you. And in Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17, it is written in a way that needs to be tattooed on your heart. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. Do you realize the depth of this? It is not a suggestion. It is a divine sentence. It is a decree from heaven. And today, over your life, this decree is being activated. And it is exactly here that I need to remind you of something. Everything you are feeling right now, this discomfort, this identification, that discreet tear in the corner of your eye, is the Spirit confirming to you that this call is real. You are not here out of curiosity. You are here because you have a mission, and that mission involves protecting those you love. That is why I emphasize the book, How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, is waiting for you. The link is in the description and at the top of the comments. Don't leave it for later. Each day that passes is a day when those tongues continue to speak. Get it now, read it today. Now let's move to the part that will give you peace. Let's go to the part where God shows how He silences these tongues, because understanding the problem is important, but the solution is what sets you free. The first thing you need to understand is that God does not silence tongues with a scandal. He does it in His silence. He does it through time. He does it through facts that appear at the right moment. Have you ever seen a person who spoke very poorly of another be exposed without the attacked person having to do anything? Have you seen it? That is God. That is heaven showing that no one mocks what belongs to the Lord. And if you are His child, you belong to Him, and everything they said against you will return to those who said it, in the right time, in the way that hurts most, in a form that will seem like a coincidence to others, but you will know exactly what happened. The second way is the shame that falls upon the slanderer. You will never need to open your mouth to defend yourself if your heart is aligned with God. The words will fall back on those who uttered them. The person who spoke ill of you will begin to live through situations where they themselves will be spoken ill of. The person who tried to destroy your marriage will have their own marriage exposed. The person who tried to hinder your job will start to feel the weight of unemployment, or the weight of an unjust boss who will make them feel what they made you feel. It isn't me saying this. It is spiritual law. What you sow, you reap. And whoever sowed against you will reap against themselves with interest, with heaven's inflation adjustment. The third way, which is the most beautiful, is the awkward silence. That moment when the person who talked about you runs into you on the street in Seattle and doesn't know what to say. That moment when they realize you won without needing to strike back. That moment when they try to get close again and discover that the door to your heart was closed by God, not by you. This silence is the greatest blessing there is, because it releases you from people who were never on your side, and it opens space for God to place new people, people who will build with you, people who will speak well of you in places you haven't even entered yet. But for all of this to happen, you need to do something that seems simple, but is the hardest thing in the world. You need to stop trying to defend yourself. You need to stop sending voice notes to explain, stop calling to clear up misunderstandings with people who didn't even want to understand. Stop thinking about how you would respond if you ran into so-and-so at the grocery store. Every minute you spend trying to defend yourself, you are delaying God's vengeance in your life. Because while you speak, God is silent. When you are silent, God speaks. I know this is hard. I know it hurts to hear a lie about yourself and not be able to respond. I know it is human to want to pick up the phone and give your version, write a long post, or call to set the record straight. But listen to something, and listen with your heart. He who needs to explain too much loses strength. He who remains silent in the face of injustice gains spiritual authority. And spiritual authority is exactly what moves heaven to act on your behalf. Think of the example of Jesus. When they took him to be judged, what did he do? He remained silent. The guards making things up, the Pharisees distorting words, the false witnesses accusing, and him in silence. Why? Because he knew something few people know. The silence of the righteous is louder than the shout of the liar. And God on the third day gave the answer, not with a speech, with a resurrection, with proof, with life. Your answer will also not be through a speech. It will be through life. Your restored family will be the answer. Your growing business will be the answer. Your healed body will be the answer. Your inner peace will be the answer. People will look and won't need an explanation, because the result speaks louder than 1,000 words combined. And that is why I need to stop everything here now to talk to you eye to eye. If you have reached this part of the video, I no longer have any doubt. You are not here by a random click. There is a hand leading you. And now you must decide what you are going to do with all of this. Are you going to close the video in a moment and go about your week, letting this message die in your memory? Or are you going to take advantage of the fact that God opened a window and step into it with everything you have? That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you called How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day. This book is not just any book. It was made for those being attacked in silence who don't know what to do anymore. It explains the spiritual signs you're living through now, shows how to position yourself against the tongues that rose against you, and most importantly, prepares you for the most important moment of your existence. Hundreds of families have already written to me saying that after this book, they changed the way they pray. They started seeing small miracles in their daily lives. They saw enemies vanish from their lives without having to do a thing, and they went back to sleeping in peace. The link is pinned in the description of this video, and also at the top of the comments. I must warn you that this content could go offline at any moment, because the truth is uncomfortable, and the more people access it, the more strength the spiritual war gains to try and pull the material out of reach. Do not delay. He who gets here and doesn't act knows not what they lose along the way. If this message is making sense to you, comment Amen below. Write the name of who you want to protect, and record that you will not ignore this calling. Now let's go to the last part of this video, and I need to tell you that this is the most important part of all. I am going to teach you 3 postures that will make heaven act faster on your behalf, silencing the tongues that rose against you. The first posture is the fast of the mouth, and it is not a fast from food. It is a fast from words. For 7 days, you do not speak ill of anyone. You do not comment on who hurt you. You do not mention the name of who betrayed you. You do not give a voice to what wounded you. This fast creates a spiritual vacuum into which God enters with all his authority. When you stop feeding the war with your tongue, God takes command of the battle. And I guarantee when the 7 days are over, you will have seen strange things happen to those who caused you pain. Not as revenge, but as justice. Don't try to understand it. Just observe and write down in a notebook everything that happens, because you will want to remember. The second posture is prayer for the enemy. This is hard, and I know it is. Our flesh screams for revenge. But hear what Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. When you pray for your enemy, you are not asking for a blessing for them. You are freeing yourself from the poison they planted in you. And furthermore, you are releasing the divine court to act. Because while you hate, God respects your desire to take justice into your own hands. When you hand it over, He takes over. And when He takes over, the game turns in a way that is startling. I have seen people who prayed for those who betrayed them receive a turnaround in 3 months that they could never achieve in 3 years on their own, fighting. The third posture is the silent act of faith. This means doing something new in your life without telling anyone, starting a project without posting it on social media, changing a habit without announcing it, seeking healing without exposing it. When you act in silence, you hide from envious eyes, and what is hidden from human eyes is exposed to the eyes of God, who rewards in public what He sees in secret. This is an ancient biblical principle, but few people live it. And that is why few people see the supernatural happening in their own lives. I need you to understand one thing before I finish this video. The fact that you are going through this is not a curse. It is a sign of a calling. Ordinary people are not attacked in this way. People with a spiritual purpose attract attacks because the enemy sees the shine that the world has not yet recognized. If they are talking too much about you, it is because there is something very big inside of you waiting to be born. It could be a ministry. It could be a business that will change your family's life for generations. It could be a healing that will impact many people. It could be a word that will reach places you can't even imagine. But there is something in there. And when that thing starts to move, hell moves with it, trying to kill it before it is born. God is calling you today to stop crying over what they said and start preparing for what is coming. Because after the tongues are silenced, a phase of your life is coming that you have no idea about. A phase of doors opening, of the right people arriving, of finances reorganizing, of peace in the home, of health in the body, of a smile on your face, and of prayer that rises and returns with an answer. And when that phase arrives, the same mouths that spoke ill will fall silent. Not because they converted, but because heaven commanded it. And when heaven commands silence, no one opens their mouth. Think about this for a second. How many times did you stay quiet while they were hurting you? How many times did you clench your fists under the table so as not to respond to rudeness? How many times did you go to bed with your soul bleeding, pretending everything was fine in front of your family? How many times did you ask God to send a sign and it seemed like heaven was silent? I am going to tell you something that will stick with you. Heaven was never silent. Heaven was preparing. And today this video is the sign you asked for in that early morning hour, in that short prayer, in that sigh of exhaustion. Some people will watch this video and close it as if nothing happened, but not you. You know that something moved inside. You know that this message found you at a specific moment in your life, on a specific day, at a specific hour. It wasn't by chance. There is no chance for those who are children of God. So before I close, I want to leave you with a question that will stay with you all week. If God is indeed silencing the tongues that rose against you, what are you going to do with your life now that the path is opening? Because heaven does not remove stones from the path of those who still want to stand still. Heaven removes stones for those who are ready to run. I believe you are ready. I believe this video is a turning point for you. And I believe that in a few weeks, maybe months, you will come back to this video and write a comment telling us what happened in your life. I will read it. I always read them. And to close, I need to tell you one last thing with my heart in my hand. Everything said here today was not by chance. What is happening to you has a name and a surname, and you have a responsibility in your hands now, to yourself, to your home, and to the people who depend on your faith to get through what they are going through. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, called How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day. It's not just about tongues. It's not just about this phase. It's about the eternal. It's about you arriving prepared on the day when everything is judged, the day when every word spoken will be held accountable. The link is pinned in the description of this video and also appears first in the comments. Don't leave it for tomorrow, because tomorrow might be too late. Get it today. Read it today. Share it with those you love, with those you know need to hear this message. And if this message touched your heart, write below, Amen, I receive God's silence over the tongues that rose against me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, because the next videos will find you at the right moment, exactly as this one did. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard your mind and your heart now and forever. Amen.